Today we're going to talk about cupcakes and how you can take your homemade cupcakes and make them look like a professional made them. We need 4 things: the right tools, number 2, smooth frosting, 3, good technique, and 4, a little bit of love. Number 1, right tools. You start out with your tips and your bags. There are a lot of tips available to use. This is probably an eighth of what's available, but the ones I like to use for cupcakes are the little bit larger ones, and different tips give different designs on your cupcakes. There's the round tip, the closed star, the open star, and the drop flower. Now the bags that we use, these are just disposable bags. You can use them once and throw them away. They come with a closed end, and so you can cut off as much as you need depending on if you're going to use a tiny tip or if you're going to use a really ginormous tip. You can adjust it to it. The other ones, which I usually use when I'm doing a whole lot of cupcakes, are these big chef ones because they hold a lot of icing. So I like to use both of them. So we need a good frosting, and our frosting, it's important that you whip it a long time so you end up with a smooth icing but a firm icing. If you notice, it's sticking to the whisk. It's not just all falling off. That's the consistency you want of your icing. And so then we take our bag and we drop our tip down inside. It just slides down. You want to have maybe an eighth of the tip sticking out. You squish it down in the bag so it's nice and firm. Roll your bag down so then you can add your icing. And I just use a spatula scraper to scoop up some icing and drop it down in. You only want to fill your bag about halfway to maybe 2/3 full so that you can close enough up. If you aren't able to close enough, you'll have icing coming out both ends, and that's not pretty on your cupcakes. All right, so squeeze all the icing down, then you're gonna twist it. And I hold it between my index finger and my thumb. I twist really firm, lots of times. Get it so I can hold it. I'm gonna squeeze with this hand here. So let's talk about technique. I'll show you with this first tip. This is the drop flower tip, and it makes kind of a little rigid edge to it. So we start in the middle and we make a little mound, and then we ease the icing out all the way to the outside, and we just make a circle around the outside. Now we're going to swirl back in and fill in. As we get to the top, we release our pressure and we drop it up, and there's our cupcake. I'll show you that a couple more times with different tips. So in this bag, I've got the open star tip. It's going to make a wider ruffle. So again, you start in the middle, you make a little mound, and then we circle around to the outside, and then we're making our outer rim, and we circle around into the middle. As I get to the top, I release the pressure and I pull up. One more time, I'll do it with the round tip. All right, so we do a little mound in the middle, and then I take my icing all the way around the outside edge, back around to the middle, swirling around, and then I release the pressure and I lift up. There we've got the round tip, the open star, and the drop flower. So we've got the icing on, and they look pretty good, but when we add that little bit of love, it takes them up a level. So for this Oreo icing, very simply, add half an Oreo to it. And that one's nice and pretty. For this star tip, we're going to take some sprinkles and add it. One thing about adding sprinkles is it's important to add it soon after you've iced the cupcake. So I usually only ice maybe 2 or 3 cupcakes, add the sprinkles, and then I'll ice some more. Because the icing's still wet, it'll stick to it. This here's our cookie dough icing, and just to top that off, 1 chocolate chip finishes off. So over here, I have a Butterfinger icing. Now I did this with the round tip. You can see it's nice and round, looks like our cookie dough one, but I've had it sitting in the freezer for about 10-15 minutes just to firm it up. Here I've got some melted chocolate, and I'm just gonna dip it all in, let it drip off a little bit. I take it back up, and while it's still wet, I sprinkle on my Butterfinger, and then I just let it sit. It doesn't need to go back in the refrigerator or anything, but that chocolate's gonna firm up and get hard, and you have your Butterfinger. So there you have 4 demonstrations of taking our cupcakes to homemade cupcakes to look professional. We did it with the right tips, the right tools, a smooth frosting, a good technique, and last and most important, that little bit of love. Let's go enjoy some cupcakes.